Tobey Maguire in a second. Alice Lee, who played Gretchen, who's lovely in real life. Be nice to her. Michael Scott, who played Seth. Lil Howery, who played Demetrius. Michaela Watkins, who played Catherine. Rupar, who played Jared. Jillian Bell, who played Brittany. And last, my friend, Brittany O'Neill.
Great, you guys know to move down into the light. I love that. So we're going to open up to Q&A. Paul, is there anything you want to say up front before we do that?
No, thank you.
Okay. So if anybody out there has any questions for Paul or any of the folks up here, raise your hand. I'll call on you. Please speak as loudly as possible. Paul, you'll help me repeat the questions, okay? And we'll give it to go this gentleman right here.
Jillian, some of the funniest scenes are when Brittany is actually guarding herself with humor. Was that a tricky balance to strike?
Okay, did y'all hear that in the back? He spoke pretty loudly. Okay, it was for Jillian. One of the most scenes he loves was one of the scenes he loves when Brittany was guarding herself with humor. And talk about that.
I mean, I think as a comedian, it sort of just happens. Most of us get into comedy to sort of make people laugh and shy away from pain. Sounds very dramatic, but it's sort of true. And that's what I like the most about the character is when I read it, I could relate to her so much. I definitely like to be silly and do comedies, but there is some truth in that, in using comedy to hide pain in your life. And as someone who does comedy, I can say that's pretty true.
I'm looking at you, balcony people, yes? Is there somebody up? Oh, yes, okay. Go ahead.
These characters were insanely relatable, and the story was just so good. Honestly, this is like word for word what happened when I ran a marathon.
Don't sue us.
It's so good. How did you make these characters relatable? How did they start, and how did you develop them to be just like so good? They like push against each other so well. They have like a lot of strength.
So this gentleman ran a marathon. He completely related to these characters. How did you make these characters so relatable?
We started with Brittany, my friend Brittany. We started with her heart and her soul, and we deviated from it as we sort of built the spine of the story so that we could keep the victory and the triumph and the emotionality of her story intact while allowing it to be an arc that an audience could go on. And then after that, it was really about building the movie and all of the people around what she needed, what she would fight against, what she didn't know, that people who would have revelations that she could discover over time. And then, honestly, we developed the script for a long time of material, and that was lovely. And when these actors came, they were comedians who were ready to be beating hearts in front of a camera, and they were all instantly accessible. And that is what did it in the end.
Cool. Anybody? Oh, yeah.
First of all, this movie hit every note. It had it all. So, did Brittany come to you and say, I want a movie?
No.
Pretty much you repeat the question.
She asked if I asked to have a movie made about me. No. Actually, I was, Paul came to me 7 years ago to let me know that he was, as I was training, that he was planning on in the middle of writing a movie about me, and asked if it was okay, and I said sure, and so through that process, as he was exploring the script, I was continuing to explore what this journey was for me, and his support for me as a friend I'm so grateful for, and so proud of the vision that he kept from the very beginning, and that he really was relentless in being true to the story and true to his script, and it was incredible.
Did you cut him off your relationship and friendship?
Oh, no, we're always
We had one fight once. Remember?
couple.
Do you still run?
Yes, but now it's more like Brittany runs 2 miles and then does mobility training because I have bad ankles.
That could be the short. Anybody else? Yeah, way back there in the white hat.
This is about diversity. I noticed there's a lot of diverse stories, right, about your family situation as well as your dating situation. It's really nice to see that there's diverse relationships that are relevant with the roommate as well as the characters. I was wondering if that was written into the script or if that was actually what was happening with Brittany's life.
Yeah, I think that's for you, Paul. The question was about the diversity of the character, many of the characters in the film, and could you talk about that?
Yeah, Brittany and I were roommates at the time that she started training and I was running. We were on the Upper West Side in Manhattan, and the world is, the world's very diverse. New York City especially, it's not, it's everybody outside. So as we were casting the film, there wasn't really a question about it. We wanted the great talents, and we wanted it to feel like New York, and I think in there is where that's probably a product of that, but the goal was to make it feel really real. And as we were casting, it feels like everyone is going to be represented in some way and have felt like a beautiful tapestry we were weaving.
Marathon?
We shot at the New York City Marathon, yeah.
Which year and how complicated was it? Because
Okay.
not like things in their row.
Yes. So the question was, did we shoot at the marathon and what year and how did that happen? We shot in 2017. We're the first ever non-doc to shoot in it. The New York Roadrunners was incredibly supportive of the messaging of the film and what we stood for, and they happened to be like ADs on the side, so they were like ready to help a film, and they treated us like kings. I mean, it was amazing. We had like bus service, our own security guards. They just like tore it up for us.
But the greatest part was that there was like 8 of us. That, you know what I mean? So we were all picking up equipment and running as fast as we could to get as much as we could.
Yeah, as we could. And the craziest thing that I forgot about was when we were shooting the end, when she's crossing the finish line, people thought it was a documentary, other runners, and they saw that she was struggling, and strangers kept coming up to help her get over the finish line. And it was
so beautiful.
We were sobbing. We were like, please get out of the frame.
But it was great too because our Steadicam guy, Bill, he was weeping. This huge man weeping, and like everyone trying to help me. And it didn't feel like it was my place to say, don't.
She was so nice. She was like, thank you. I was like, we have to pay him.
And to say to them, you just ran 26 miles. I'm an actress. I couldn't do that. So it was just a beautiful thing. That someone helped me every single time.
It was amazing.
Cool. There's a guy in the black shirt there, yeah.
Okay, so you have a lot of great improv comedians in the cast. I'm wondering how much improv is in the movie, and if so, like, what was your favorite improv?
Me?
Not all of you, was there a lot of improv in the movie, and what's your favorite line?
Yeah, he was asking, there are a lot of improv artists up here, was there a lot of improv in the movie, and what was our favorite improv line? The first part's easy. We stuck to the script at first, word for word. We went through the scene, we made sure that we were telling the beats of the story as prepared. Everyone was a great teammate in that. And then, someone has a whim, or they said something, or they would just start like cracking each other up, and we just keep rolling. So it was a mix of the two, which is how we ended up, I think, with this style, which feels very real and off the cuff, and also is sort of streamlined. oh, I don't know. There's so many good lines in it. I mean, the first one that's an improv is "That'll do, Shannon," and that got me every time.
There's so many good improvisers in this movie. Everybody just helped to make it real. I feel like Who Christ, you got me more than a few times.
Was the civil rights attorney in improv?
Yeah, that was improv. I was not going to write that line.
That got me. I was like, that is good writing, sir.
But you know, I never remember what improv until I was to a director saying, oh yeah, that wasn't in the script, right? But I thought which was cool. I think that's what makes this movie unique, is that you do have these comedians who we all can just be funny anytime. The hard part of it, I love the fact that for some reason people don't think comedians can be dramatic actors. Like, yo, that's easy. You know how sad our lives are? But that's what I love about Paul, man. So far I've worked with these amazing writers and directors, but this dude really was, he was in his script, and he supported all of us. You know, like, when he yelled cut, I used to love to, like, even if I wasn't in the scene, I just like watching Paul watch it. Because he would just watch it, his tears going down his eyes. You could barely hear him cut. It's like, okay, we got it. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how amazing. I mean, this is his first movie, and it doesn't seem like.
Okay, so up until we had time for two more, and I know there was, right in the glass here.
Is the weight loss real? Good question.
It's interesting because we had such a short amount of time to shoot the film. I had to wear a bodysuit and prosthetics, but I did the actual weight loss journey of Brittany in my real life, prepping for this movie. So, not because they asked me to. They just showed up and they were like, oh, okay. But mostly just because at the base of Brittany, I understood her so wholeheartedly, and I related to her emotional journey, her mental journey, but the physical journey I had never done. So I was on Pinterest looking up couch to 5K, how you train, and I was having my sister tape videos of me running and what it actually looks like when you start running for the first time, because I wasn't a runner, and then got trainers and help, and someone actually helped me in how to remember, like, this is how you run when you're first starting out, and this is how you run at the end, and I had a lot of help.
The change in the movie, of the story, happens within Brittany's soul and within her heart. And Jillian knew that and was dedicated beyond belief to live out and honor that story. And she went through a harrowing, vulnerable, personal, real, admirable journey to make this film. And I love her forever for it.
Final question, is that lady, yeah, you, waving your hand.
So inspiring, so well done. I was laughing, crying like the entire time. Like they were just breaks, right? But it was amazing. What were some of the challenges that you had to go through in getting this made? How long did it take you?
It's the craziest story. The question is, how do we go about getting
There's
this
a lot
made?
of before question, how great the movie was, then the question was,
How did this end up getting made? And the truth is, I had the idea in 2011, 2012, something like that. I started working on it. It's really a crazy story. I had a play in New York. Toby came to the second preview. We had a meeting afterwards. He said, what do you want to do? I said, there's this movie idea I have about my best friend. He was like, okay. And then he bought it off of that with Matt Pluff. We developed it together for years and years, 3-4 years. And it was their lunch and they could, they weren't gonna let it go. And they really believed in it and stuck to it and turned me into a screenwriter from a playwright, which is a different art form. And then about, I don't know what year it is, like 2 years ago, I asked if I could direct it and they said no. And then, and I convince them. And then they were just incredibly supportive and threw resources behind it and made it happen. And I'm trying to stay ignorant about how lucky I've been in this process because I don't want to see an obstacle down the line. I'm just going to pretend that it just all works this way.
Okay, that's all the time we have. Thank you all so much for coming.